You ever want to feel completely small? The Grand Canyon will do it. This place is something else. It's so quiet. I'm half an hour or so out of camp. Clouds kind of rolled in. John Anna's back taking a nap. And walking up this creek bed that you can see behind me, it's really pretty wild out here. I mean, it's just zero noise other than the wind and your breath. Really, really cool. You ever want to feel small, come to the Grand Canyon. This place is unbelievable. All right, sitting here at day number 1. We're going to zoom into Lippin Point where we parked the car and where we first started. Then we're going to go down this big ravine, down to a notch to take a quick break. Then off some rolling terrain, just kind of through this open desert area, really, really cool terrain. Some of it got incredibly steep. And then the further we get, of course, we're getting closer and closer to the river, so you can kind of see the river beds appear. And we zoom in here towards the very end, where we hit our first camp down at Tanner Beach. All right, day 2, we started at Tanner Beach, walked along the shoreline over here to a nice little beach for a rest area, and then up along all these ridges, along really cool terrain, back into this valley, had a good lunch. Along this ridgeline, if you look close, you can barely see the trail, and then up and over, around, and kind of through these canyons. I couldn't actually find the trail on Google Earth down to here. It's the morning of our second day. Walking through this big sandbar off of Tanner Beach. Really pretty morning, not too hot. Actually, it's not hot at all. It's nice and cool. There's John Anna disappearing down the beach. Looking up this way, up towards the south rim of the Grand. Really, really pretty this morning. All right, this is heading into the Escalante route. It's been a pretty substantial little climb. There's our climb. To get up to where we are, we're going to hit this little plateau and head straight south away from the river for a while. And there goes John Anna around the corner. Yeah, this should be pretty cool. We filled up with a bunch of water.
Yeah, we filled up with a bunch of water down at the river, which is just down there. I say just, it's taken us probably half an hour to climb up out of there. Had to let it all settle before we could filter it. But this is gonna be cool. I think that canyon that we're looking at over there is where we're gonna drop back down to the river. But it's like a really circuitous 6 or 7 miles to get over there. Should be cool. Just kind of finishing up the Escalante route. Kind of. We still got to actually drop back into Escalante Canyon. It's getting late in the day. This has been a really tough day. It's much tougher than I thought it would be. So this is one of the coolest finishes to our days. Coming down this creek. What do you think, Jay? That's where we're headed.
Okay, this is day 3. We head up this little side hill next to the slot canyon. We drop down into this slot canyon, which was really cool, by the way. Down the slot canyon, back down to the river. Along this shelf above the river to a little sandbar with a pretty good obstacle. Up and over this cliff, down a really gnarly rock slide, and then down the river to our camp at Red Canyon.
Not psyched about this, but that is our descent. And down there you can see where the trail picks up. But that mess is what we have to go down. So we're in the middle of the rock slide. That's what we're going down. This is super gnarly. That's what we came down. I'm about halfway, just picking up my pack. Yeah, that's the rest of it. Holy crap. This is, I'm sure you can't tell from here, but that is just steep and gnarly. Okay, figured I'd do one more. It was only about 15 minutes ago that I did that one about feeling small and insignificant, and sure enough, I still do. But I found some water. And one of the points of this little day hike was just to get up out of the Colorado River basin and see if I could actually find some water that was worth drinking. The Colorado's so muddy, we have to just let it settle for a couple hours before we can filter it. It's pretty gross. Tastes fine, you know, whatever, you gotta filter it, but it takes quite a while. Anyway, this beautiful spot, I'm gonna swing around to the other way. That's what I just came up, kind of following my nose thinking, well, top of these little canyons there's usually a seep. Sure enough, it's exactly what I found. So yeah, it's pretty cool. We actually only hiked like 4 or 5 miles today, something really seems so puny and small, but it was hard. It was really hard hiking. Dropped into this cool slot canyon, up and over. We actually had to do some climbing where we were shuttling packs up and over. Scrambling, kind of really loose, scree. Just, yeah, standard Grand Canyon style. It beats you up. There's nothing else like it. Anyway, pretty cool.
Alright, this is day 4 coming from Red Canyon. We hiked up onto this bench above the Colorado River and just worked our way around these canyons into one dry wash and then up and over the next big ridge. Some pretty rough terrain, but the next dry wash, the hiking really smoothed out. We can actually make some time. It was really cool. The weather wasn't too hot, so it wasn't too bad. Had a nice lunch at a creek down here. I think that was Hance Creek. And then started working our way up towards Horseshoe Mesa, past Page Springs. So this is all the way up onto Horseshoe Mesa, and then to our last campsite.
Alright, good morning. It is the morning of day 4. We're working our way up towards Horse Thief Bench, which is that away. You can kind of see the trail behind me here. It's not much, but it's very pretty this morning. It's been raining off and on. Yeah, so we're playing the throw the rain gear on, take the rain gear off game, back and forth. You can see the cheap poncho strapped to the top of the pack. Yeah, really cool. These rapids down here are, I think it's Hance Rapids. They go forever. I think if you were rafting that would be quite the adventure. Anyway. Wind settled down just briefly. I could finally take a short little video. Holy crap. That is deep. And that's where we're headed, over to that mesa over there. I don't quite know how we're going to get there. We'll figure it out. Well, okay. We screwed up a little bit. We're climbing back up to with Horseshoe Bench. We were at a perfectly good camp spot down there. way down in that canyon at like 1 or 2 in the afternoon. We said, oh, you know, let's go up to this springs. There's sure to be camping up at the springs. Well, what I'm looking at here, you can see that trail way down there. That's just on a really steep hillside. That's the thing that goes back to the springs. There's no camping back there. So I'm now loaded up with 5 liters of water, and we're going up that. And we got about an hour and a half of daylight left, so that's fun. But I did find this cool little cave. Let's go take a look. A little miner's tunnel. Right. Get in here just a little ways. There's a gate. But John Anna's already passed it. So I guess our opportunity to sleep in a spooky cave is passed for the day. Anyway, it's still beautiful here. Even though we done screwed up, I'm just really hoping we can find a good campsite up on the rim above this. I hope. It is probably impossible to see in this video. That little tower on the side of that butte, that was above us on our first night. And we've come all this way. The really flat light probably doesn't help here, but and then coming up out of the depths is John Anna. We are beat. But that's a really good marker for how far we've gone. That little tiny tower on the far side of that butte.
Last day, coming off of Horseshoe Mesa. Started off really easy, and then up and up and up and up we went. And then the up continued even more, and we finally ended up over at Grandview Point, and that was the end of the trip.
Okay, we're just about there. The Grand Canyon adventure is basically over. We're climbing up to Grandview Point. And I think the name works. It's a heck of a good view. It's kind of windy and cold and rainy last night, but it wasn't too bad. We'd hauled up all of our water out of that creek, or out of that spring, and then camped up at Horseshoe Mesa, which we didn't, strictly speaking, have a permit for, but the ranger didn't seem to care. He talked to us, just said, hey, cool, as long as you're safe, doesn't really matter. So it's a lot better than other national parks I've been in. Yeah, this is pretty cool.